Well, good morning from London, good afternoon from Busan. I'm a bit delighted to welcome you to this webinar presenting an overview of developments in Busan as part of our series of webinars looking at financial centres of the world. I'm Mike Wardle, I'm the moderator for today's session, and I'm CEO here at ZN Group, delighted as always to welcome you. In terms of our program today, we have a number of speakers. So after my introduction, we'll have some opening remarks from Mr. Myung-Gun Yu, who's Head of International Affairs Department in the Financial Hub team at the Financial Supervisory Service in Korea. An introduction to Busan itself from Hyokun Kim, who's the Director of Finance in the Blockchain Division at Busan Metropolitan City. And then Dr. Seung-Gun An will talk about the Busan International Financial Centre and its work on innovation, incentives, and the future ecosystem. So really looking forward to their perspectives and their introduction to developments in Busan. There will be an opportunity for questions towards the end of the session. If you haven't used the GoToWebinar system before, the way to put in a question is to find the question tab on the dashboard on your screen, type in the question, and we'll be able to see those and field those questions towards the end of the session. And you can put in a question at any point during the presentation. So if a thought strikes you, please do take a moment to type in your comment or your question so that we don't lose them. We will be recording the session today so that if you want to go and refresh your memory after the event, or if you have friends and colleagues who you think will be interested in the contents, the recording will be available and will be posted on our website in a couple of days' time. So that'll be available for us to go back and look. I mentioned the range of expertise we have today. I'm really delighted we have with us Myung-Gun Yu, Hyokun Kim, and Seung-Gun An, all of whom will give a different perspective from the point of view of the Financial Supervisory Service, Busan Metropolitan City, and Busan Finance Centre itself. And that's all by way of my introduction. So I would like to pass over the floor to Myung-Gun Yu, Head of the Financial Hub Support Team at the Financial Supervisory Service. Myung-Gun, over to you.
Thank you. This is Myung-Shin Yu, Head of Financial Hub Support Team in Financial Supervisory Service. First of all, it's very honor of me to be in such a precious occasion, including Mr. Warden, CEO of GN, and Dr. Kim from Busan City, and Dr. An from BIFC. Very nice to meet you. Actually, I prepared a little bit more than opening remarks, so I just briefly, really quick. Yeah. Before I begin, I would like to briefly talk about Korea. As you might know, Korea is known to have the 13th largest economy in the world. Especially Korea, the next slide. Especially Korea is a country with highly decentralized economy, mostly thanks to its excellent IT infrastructure. In this environment, next slide, Korean financial companies are pursuing overseas expansion to secure any growth engines and strengthen the global competitiveness. As of the end of September last year, 2023, Korean financial companies are opening a total of 493 overseas branches in 46 countries. And the other direction, many global financial companies have also entered the Korean financial market and have contributed the development of our Korean financial industry. And total 171 global finance companies from 32 countries, including United Kingdom, of course. Next slide. Now I will explain the attractiveness of K-Finance. First, credibility. We have witnessed the global economic and financial challenge caused by COVID-19, etc. However, our credit ratings remained at high grades, and Korea's financial industry has shown its resilience in the finance sector, such as the capital adequacy ratio or the asset quality ratio. Secondly, innovation. Korea has a world-class technical capacity and infrastructure in ICT, represented by Samsung, LG, and Hyundai, etc. Our financial companies took advantages of this ICT environment to act fast in the face of rising digital economy. Finally, openness. Korea, as you know, Korea is not a big country, and we have no natural resources. So we have an environment which the survival is difficult, to be honest, without exchange or some trade with other countries. In this environment, we are focusing on increasing foreign investors to access to our financial markets and making their investment easier. The government continually reduced the requirements of investor registration or some investment trading report for foreign investors. Next slide. Next, let me give a chance to talk about the Korea's financial hub policy. Korea has been preparing and implementing a financial hub policy with an aim to promote the financial industry. The policy is based on the Act on the Creation and Development of a Finance Hub enacted in March 2008, and Busan and Seoul were designated finance centers in Korea. Master plan for every 3 years established and implemented by Financial Hub Promotion Committee. Next slide. Within the Financial Supervisory Service, we have a specialized organization named Finance Hub Korea, which is dedicated to provide one-stop service for foreign financial companies that are willing to do business in Korea. For example, if you are a foreign investor who want to enter Korea, and if you want to know the regulations on insurance sales or some private equity investment, then you can contact us through our one-on-one inquiry system. The next slide. On our official website, the financialhubkorea.kr. You can find the one-to-one inquiry system. Then our staff probably happy. Then we'll be happy to answer the question or some transfer the question to the department who can answer them. The next slide. There are some real sample questions which were filed last month, and we transferred this question to the correct department who can answer them. Next slide. Recently, we published 2 books. One is for inbound. That means one is for the foreign companies who want to invest Korea, and one for outbound, for companies in Korea who want to go abroad or expand their business in other countries. So one is written in English and one is written in Korean. In each book, we provide detailed information on the necessary licenses and procedures for each finance sector. In addition to publishing guidebooks and answering questions, through interviews with overseas financial authorities and central banks, etc., we help them advance domestically, internationally, indirectly. For example, around 2 weeks ago, we met with Kazakhstan financial supervisory authorities. In the process of consulting with them about the mutual cooperation between financial supervisory services authorities, we discussed the process and difficulties regarding the license of financial companies who want to expand their business in Kazakhstan. The next slide, final slide. Lastly, I would like to introduce you the FSS's recent IR activities. Last year, we launched the Invest K Finance as a new IR platform with Busan and Seoul and major Korean financial institutions in collaboration with domestic sovereign pension funds. We actively promoted the strengths and opportunities of K Finance to global investors in Singapore and London. In this year, we are planning to do an IR in New York in this coming May. We ask for your interest. Next slide. So this concludes the presentations. Thank you for listening my poor pronunciation. To be honest, I caught a cold last month, yesterday. So I hope this, yeah.
Thank you very much, and very clear. I'm very sorry to hear you had a cold, and please do get better soon. Thank you so much, Minking Yu. We're going to move on to hearing from Busan Metropolitan City and from Hyo Kyung Kim, who's Director of Finance and Blockchain Division at Busan. So, Hyo Kyung, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Welcome everyone to this webinar. It's a pleasure to meet you all. I'm Hyo-kyung Kim, the Director of Finance and Blockchain for the Busan Metropolitan Government, which oversees all operations of the development of the Busan International Finance Centre. Today, I would like to briefly introduce Busan and the Busan International Finance Centre. Additionally, I will share the latest major developments of BIFC and its prospects as a global financial hub. First, let me give you a brief introduction of Busan. Busan is Korea's second largest city and a leading gateway connecting Eurasia and the Pacific. It is recognized globally as an attractive city due to its warm climate and beautiful natural environment comprises of the sea, mountains, and rivers. As a logistics hub in Northeast Asia, Busan ranks second in the world in terms of dense shipments and seventh in container cargo volume. It boasts optimal transportation infrastructure that encompasses land, air, and sea, making it an excellent city for business, along with its superb human resources and educational environment. In 2009, Busan was designated, along with Seoul, as a financial hub of Korea. At the first step in building out the infrastructure to become a financial hub, we initiated the Busan International Finance Centre Complex Development Project, which includes the Busan Financial Hub's landmark building. The first phase of the project, which was completed in 2014, saw the construction of the Busan International Finance Centre, accommodating the 38 institutions, totaling about 5,000 employees from various public organizations and financial policy institutions. The second phase, which combines financial and cultural facilities, was completed in 2018. We expect the third phase of the complex to be completed by 2025, further enhancing Busan's status as an international financial city. In February, President Yoon Suk-yeol visited Busan to announce bold policies aimed at developing Busan as another major axis of Korea alongside Seoul. This includes the enactment of the Global Hub City Act and relocation of the Korea Development Bank to Busan. The primary focus of the Global Hub City Act is to designate financial and logistics special zones and investment promotion districts, thereby enhancing financial and tax support for companies that settle within these zones. By creating an autonomous educational environment, the goal is to attract talent and develop Busan into a global hub for logistics, finance, and cutting-edge industries. Let me briefly touch on the specifics of a financial special zone designation. Once Busan is designated as a financial special zone, the Korean government will be able to provide financial support and various tax benefits to help Busan become an international financial hub. The establishment of a special organization for the formation and support of the finance special zone is expected to energize the Busan International Finance Centre as a global financial hub. Furthermore, Busan is focusing its administrative efforts on relocating the headquarters of the Korea Development Bank to Busan, a top financial policy institution in Korea, responsible for supplying industrial funds and overseeing corporate restructuring, with assets totaling 354 trillion won. In close cooperation with the government, the bank has been designated and announced that it will be relocated to Busan, thereby moving all functions and organizations within its headquarters. All the administrative procedures have been completed, with only the legislative amendment process remaining. The relocation of the Korea Development Bank to Busan is expected to revitalize the southern region's key industries and financial industry, forming a dual growth hub with the capital region and contributing to balanced national development. It will serve as a significant driving force for Busan's advancement as a global finance hub city. In addition, Busan, as Korea's only blockchain regulatory-free special zone, plans to launch the Busan Digital Asset Exchange later in October of this year. The Busan Digital Asset Exchange aims to be a fourth-generation blockchain exchange that utilizes blockchain technology to tokenize valuable assets, such as raw materials, precious metals, intellectual property rights, and carbon emission rights, which will also allow for convenient 24/7 trading. With independent functions for custody and settlement, listing evaluation, and market surveillance, the exchange will operate under a decentralized governance framework to competently protect investors, with plans to develop its unique mainnet for future use at the exchange, expanding as a key piece within this newly emerging global infrastructure network. Busan is celebrating its 15th anniversary as a designated financial hub. Over the years, we've made significant progress in expanding our financial infrastructure and forming a cluster of public financial corporations. However, there are areas we still need to improve upon, such as attracting domestic and international private financial institutions and developing a robust financial ecosystem. Therefore, we are working to overcome these challenges and leap forward as a true global financial center. Firstly, Busan will leverage its geopolitical advantage as both the starting point and end point of the Eurasian continent, and a key location for global logistics with its tripod facilities in order to attract the regional headquarters of global financial institutions. We also plan to strengthen cooperation with other global financial hubs like Hong Kong and Singapore. Additionally, in line with the new digital finance era, we will find and nurture new growth engines such as fintech, blockchain, and digital assets to enhance the competitiveness of local finance. We will also strengthen our capabilities as a specialized center for maritime and financial derivatives. In particular, we plan to specifically develop Phase 3 of the BIFC Complex Development Project, which is scheduled to be completed in December of next year as a digital finance valley. Such development will focus on digital finance companies utilizing fourth industrial technologies such as fintech, blockchain, and AI, integrating investments and guarantee functions to leap forward as a digital finance hub in Asia. We will enhance finance support to boost the competitiveness of local key industries and attract not only financial policy institutions like the KDB Bank, which play a significant role in industrial sector, but also additional public institutions that reflect local characteristics and are able to help revitalize the real economy. This includes previously relocated public financial corporations, financial and investment support institutions linked to the KDB Bank, startup support institutions, and institutions that support the maritime and shipbuilding industries. In doing so, Busan is seeking to build a robust financial policy-centered foundation for itself. I have shared the projects that Busan Metropolitan City is currently undertaking to energize its role as a financial hub, as well as the direction the Busan Financial Hub is aiming to move towards in the near future. Additionally, Busan plans to work with the central government on significant projects, such as the opening of the new Ga-deok-do Airport, scheduled for completion in 2029, and the redevelopment of the North Port. With such a momentum behind us, Busan is well on its way to transforming into a global hub city. This concludes my presentation. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, and great to hear about the central role of Busan Metropolitan City in taking this forward. Our final speaker this morning is Dr. Sungo An from Busan Finance Centre, who's going to be talking in even more detail about how Busan is moving towards being a global financial hub. Dr. An, over to you.
Thank you so much. Building on Hyung-Kim's remarks, let me further focus on the digital finance ecosystem and maritime finance ecosystem of Busan International Finance Centre. Next slide, please. And going further, I will explain the Busan International Finance Centre's incentive for foreign businesses, and then I will conclude with its prospect. Next slide, please. Since its inauguration, President Myung-woo Lee of Busan Finance Centre is aiming to transform the Busan International Finance Centre into digital, sustainable, and maritime financial centers. Accordingly, we will focus on developing a number of aspects. Next slide, please. And since its designation as a finance center in 2009, we have had multiple progresses, as Hyung-Kim has addressed, and the latest of which is developing and establishing the Busan Digital Asset Exchange. And thanks to those achievements, our ranking on the Global Financial Center Index has been going upward since 2021. And next slide, please. Let me give you a brief overview of the digital finance ecosystem in addition to the Director Hyung-Kim's explanations. We are now fully supporting the ideation and creation and commercializations of the digital finance. To support the ideation side, we have had multiple incubation facilities such as U-Space, B-Space, and S-Space. The three facilities in combined have hosted more than 60 advanced fintech businesses. In addition to this, to support the creations of the business, the Busan Metropolitan City has been hosting the blockchain regulation free zone, which is a sandbox scheme. So already 11 companies has been awarded with this commercial aspect and regulatory sandbox schemes. And to further support the commercial aspect, the upcoming Busan Digital Asset Exchange and Korea Exchanges STO market will further support the commercializations of the security token offering or digital tokenization of assets. And this is a prospect. Next slide, please. For the maritime finance ecosystem, Busan has long been promoting itself as a maritime finance center. So since 2014, in terms of its ecosystem, the world-class maritime finance centers such as CAXIM, K-SHARE, and KDB have jointly collaborated to create a maritime institute called Marine Finance Center. And this center has since then issued more than $14 billion to many businesses. And in addition to this, we are hosting world-class tonnage bank such as Kenko Ship Investment Management Corporation, which is owning more than 60 ships. So it is providing the large vessels to marine businesses in need. And we have KOBC, and for this, we will explain in the next slide. Next slide, please. Next, yes. So the KOBC was incorporated in 2018, and since then it has provided more than $8 billion in liquidity to 121 companies. And it is also accelerating the net zero maritime finance ecosystem transition. So it has set up multiple funds such as Green Ocean Fund or the Maritime Industry Crisis Response Fund. In addition to this, it is also providing maritime research or information to the public. So it has set up the freight rate indexes such as KCCI or KDCI, just like the London's Baltic Exchange is doing with the Baltic Dry Index. Next slide, please. So building on these discussions made by Yu Myung-shin and Hyung-Kim, let me further explain the incentive programs of the Busan International Finance Center. The Busan Metropolitan City has been providing very generous incentive program, such as providing free office space. It is called the D-Space, and it is located on the top floor of the BIFC. And already 5 major financial institutions such as UIB, Citibank, Line One, BMI Group, and Yozuma Group are operating and fully benefit from this incentive program. So please do contact us if you have any interest shortly, so that we can have further negotiations with you. Next slide, please. In addition to the free rental offerings, we have set up multiple incentive programs. However, the common criteria to be eligible with this incentive program is to hire at least 10 local employees from the Busan metropolitan city. So as long as you stick to this common criteria, you can be fully benefit from this program. I will explain one by one. For the tax exemptions, if you invest up to 1.8 million in USD and hire at least 10 local employees from the Busan metropolitan city, you will be fully eligible to apply for the 100% corporate tax exemption for the first 3 years, and then 50% for the next 2 years. And you will be your property acquisition tax will be fully exempted as well. And as long as you hire 10 local employees and maintain them, you can be subject to office space subsidy, human resource subsidy, and capital expenditure subsidy. So for the office space subsidies, there will be provisions of up to 50% for the purchase or rental of office spaces within the limits of 4.8 million USD. And also to acquire the human resources, there will be subsidy provisions of approximately 800 USD per employee for 6 months within the limits of 0.2 million USD or 200 million KRW. For the capital expenditure, which is the business installation cost, there will be provisions up to 1/10 of the capital expenditure within the limits of approximately 0.8 million USD. So, and in addition to this, the Busan metropolitan city has been providing other incentive programs. So please do contact us if you have any interest in this. Next slide, please. Our prospect, not only as the Global Maritime Finance Center, we are also focusing on the digital and sustainability side because of its significance. The digital and sustainability forces are governing and enforcing changes to all of the industry, not just the maritime businesses. So that's why we are focusing on digital and sustainability aspect. Next slide, please. So while we are lacking in explaining our sustainable finance ecosystem, actually Busan has been a leading sustainable finance hub we would like to address. The Republic of Korea was ranked number 2nd in terms of GSSB issuance and was ranked number 1st in 2023. And 60% of those issuances have come from the Busan International Finance Centre's institution, the volume of which is 140 billion. And Busan International Finance Centre has been the only national carbon finance center hosting the compliance carbon market, which is the KETS, Korea Emission Trading Scheme. And during 2020, the transaction volume has reached the number 2nd. So it shows the potentials of the Korea Emission Trading Scheme globally. Next slide, please. To further support the sustainable finance ecosystem, we will focus on harnessing both the demand and supply side of the finance. So to further harness the demand side, we will encourage the adoptions of the advanced sustainability standards such as CDP, PRI, and TNFD. And to further encourage the supply side of the finance, we will further encourage financial institutions to issue the sustainability-linked bond or loans or other types of related investment. Next slide, please. And to further harness the maritime finance ecosystem, we will also focus on digital and maritime finance, digital and sustainable aspect. So that's why we've put forward a number of research recently. A report jointly made by the GN and Busan Finance Center has recently suggested the importance of STO shipping finance. And in addition to this, in line with the Korea Maritime Ocean University's suggestions, we are now investigating the importance of maritime carbon finance, incentivizing the adoptions of the eco-friendly ships to the appropriate businesses. Next slide, please. In line with this, to further promote Busan International Finance Center, our organization, Busan Finance Center, will continue to conduct international relations and finance center research and continue to create the vibrant finance center ecosystem by incorporating a number of conferences here. And then the importance of, and one of the important agendas this year is to host the international symposium jointly made by the Gukja Shinmun and also the mayor of the City of London, the Professor Mike Mainelli is speaking to the event. And another event is coming in this September, which is jointly hosted by the GN and Busan Finance Center. And Mike Waddell, the CEO of GN, is coming to Busan and will host another international conference. So that has been my presentation. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Sungan, and thank you very much to all our speakers. And indeed, thank you for the name check. I'm very, very pleased that I will be coming to Busan in September, and look forward very much to meeting various of you. I just want to follow up on Sungu's comments around green finance. I think these questions will be both for Sungu and also for Myung-Shin Yu. Shane Dindrinian has asked, can you give examples of policies that encourage green finance and other sustainably linked industries? So we've heard a bit about what you've been achieving, but what are from a policy side, how are you driving green finance and sustainability in Busan? Sungu first.
So let me first speak about Korea's general environment, which Myung-Shin Yu will speak more about that. So I think, as I remember, from 2021 or 2022, already Korean taxonomy has been established by the Korean government, and accordingly, a number of laws has been enacted. So the representative law is including the Low Carbon Green Growth Act, which was enacted during 2022. And the essence of the law is to cut the emissions, the national targets achieving the national targets of cutting emission by 40% compared to that of 2018, which South Korea government has officially announced in the United Nations and also in the Paris Agreement. So following that, here in Busan International Finance Center, many number of public financial institutions are gathering and operating in line with the Paris Agreement. So for instance, Korea Housing Finance Institution, which is one of the biggest institution in South Korea, is now actively issuing the social bond, which is ESG bond. However, the movement of which will be further accelerating in the future. And also, many financial institutions here are exploring to issue the sustainability-linked bond or linked loans. And there are certain agreements in which that financial institutions need to issue them in line with the Paris Agreement. However, of course, there are much more rooms to improve. However, I think there are certain momentums are here to further support such agreement. I hope that this answers your question.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Yu, is there anything that you would like to add from the National Financial Supervisory Service?
To be honest, I'm not sure what kind of the incentives or some supporting to some specific. If I say some specific temas, then probably I can say, for example, the Korea plans to introduce the ISSB standards in 2025, and I'm aware that the best practices that will accumulate from 2024 in the United States will make great reference to the Korean listed companies. So 8 Korean companies listed in the United States stock exchange are also preparing themselves for the requirements.
May I add another comment? So just as of last year, the South Korea's ESG financial market has grown into about $100 billion market. So you can see the significance of the market. So there is certain momentum here.
Thank you. Just go on, please, Mr. Yu.
And as I told you on my slide, we are trying to support any kind of support to the companies who want to enter Korea, like operating the one-on-one inquiry system or some providing the guidance books. it might be the very basic guideline, but probably the decision makers are not much interested in the process, but the supporting, operating the inquiry system or some supporting the documents books is not easy and not a simple job. It is troublesome. How can I say it needs a kind of effort. Yeah, and we are trying to do that kind of some basic stuff to support anybody who we are operating the hub, the operating the website, the homepage is also the gateway. Anybody who are curious on the Korean financial market, they can contact us, and we can answer them directly, or some at least link the questions to the department who can answer them. That is our main job in supporting finance companies.
Thank you very much indeed. I was going to move on to another area. Just wondering, are there particular sectors where you think Busan wants to build its future? We've talked about maritime, of course, but if you think about finance, is it insurance, banking, investment? Where's the next step in terms of growth in Busan? And maybe this is for Mr. Kim and Dr. An. Mr. Kim, do you have thoughts about where the growth will come in Busan finance? Or Dr. An?
Yes, may I speak first?
Yes.
Regarding the prospect for the Busan, as Hyuk Kim explained, we will have upcoming the Busan Digital Asset Exchange ecosystem, which is very prospective and promising in our opinions, because it is called the fourth generation blockchain digital asset exchange with a decentralized governance and aiming to tokenize almost all of the value of asset. So one of the hottest topic in the digital finance here is the security token offering and tokenization of asset. And the Busan Digital Asset Exchange is aiming to fully support such ecosystem. And then, as Hyuk Kim explained, another key infrastructure called D-Valley will host more than 160 businesses, including the digital finance entrepreneurs, digital ventures, and other types of digital businesses. So while we mainly promote ourselves as a maritime finance centers, there will be certainly improvements or progress in terms of creating digital finance ecosystem. So I think that's one of our key aspects that now we are focusing on.
Thank you very much. Another question, I guess, is that you mentioned the development of the triport, and you mentioned the development of the refurbishment of the existing port facilities. Just wondering, where your partners are in terms of building infrastructure finance and bringing new investment into Busan. And again, maybe Mr. Kim or Dr. An could take that on.
I think there are certain rooms for private investor to look into this project. It is a mega investment project, in which other foreign financial firms can have a look at, and it has massive potential for the economies of the Busan metropolitan city, because the Gadokdo Airport will be running 24 hours, connecting airport, train stations, and railways as well. So we expect that many traffics will be coming to the Gadokdo Airport, and relatively there will be surrounding ecosystem, complementary ecosystem surrounding the triport regions. So, but the specific plans, I think we will report to you after this presentation, because the plan itself, to my knowledge, is also in the progress making. So
that's great. Thank you very much, Mr. Kim. We can't hear you at the moment, Mr. Kim.
Can I speak Korean and interpreter
Thank,
will translate into
oh,
English.
thank you very much.
어,
Okay.
예, 부산은 이제 가덕도 신광 같은 경우에는 지금 정부의 예산 지원을 받아서 지금 하고 있고요. 대신에 부산을 가장 빠르게 연결할 수 있는 그런 급속 열차 전철을 부텍스라는 이름을 명명을 하고 있습니다. 이 부분은 아까 마이크가 이야기한 것처럼 수소를 기반으로 연료를 쓰는 전차, 기차를 만들어서 부산 가덕 신광역에서 부산 시내까지 단 10분 만에 들어올 수 있는 그런 걸로 지금 활용을 하고 있고요. 이런 부분들도 지금 아까 이야기했다시피 그 부산 디지털 자산거래소를 통해서 만약 필요한 예산이나 투자가 필요하다면은 통해서 토큰 정권화해서 투자를 자금을 조달할 수 있는 어떤 그런 기능들을 할 예정으로 있습니다.
First, let me introduce the Kadokdo new port infrastructure. So the Kadokdo new infrastructure will be funded by the Korean central government, and alongside with that, we are now we are planning to develop high-speed train called Butex. So once the Butex is completed, it will take 10 minutes from the Kadokdo new airport and to downtown, and the trains are the hydrogen fueled system. And now currently through the and Dr. An explained about the BDX, the Busan Digital Asset Trade System, and through the BDX, we can fund for the necessary infrastructure through the tokenized security and also the other budgets as well.
또 이어서 좀 말씀을 드리면은 아까 그 녹색 금융 관련해서 좀 말씀이나 좀 있었던 것 같습니다. 부산은 지금부터 시작을 할 예정으로 있는 프로젝트가 하나 있습니다. 부산, 울산, 경남을 아울러서 광역 경제 동맹 형태로 현재 구성을 해서 진행을 하고 있는데, 이 광역 동맹 안에서 녹색 금융을 담당하는 어떤 특별 SPC 같은 특수 목적 법인 같은 것들을 설립을 해서 지금 부산으로 내려올 예정으로 있는 산업은행, 한국산업은행과 지역은행 등등 아까 BIFC 안순구 실장이 이야기했다시피 현재 내려와 있는 이전 금융 공공기관들의 어떤 투자를 받아서 운영하는 이런 안들을 현재 검토를 하고 있습니다.
And also currently there is the one project that will be launched, and now currently the Busan city government is planning the cooperation between our satellite cities, including Busan and Ulsan and Gyeongnam, and we will create the alliance between them for the economy. And in this alignment and association, we will create the CPC, the cooperation, which will be responsible for the green fund. And also now currently the KDB Industry Bank relocation is planned, and once that happened, it can be a great source for the private funding for the development of the BIFC.
Thank you very much indeed. Just a very quick last question, or last area, I think, is Nikki Holtzhausen has asked about, she says, an inevitable question regarding the use of blockchain and distributed ledgers, and indeed on maritime. Would you like to comment on how Busan is dealing with the energy usage of blockchain and DLT and the energy usage of maritime, because they are, of course, key sustainability issues. And perhaps, Dr. An, you might have some thoughts.
제가 조금 그 부분에 대해서 말씀을 드리면, 현재 지금 신재생 에너지와 관련해서 부산이 조금 고민하고 있는 부분들이 분명히 있습니다. 현재 이야기되고 있는 부분들은 선박 연료로서 메탄올에 집중을 하고 있습니다. 메탄올은 한국에서는 위험 물질로 현재 규제가 되고 있어서 이 메탄올을 연료 전지화하는 부분과 관련해서 메탄올의 이동이나 어떤 그런 것들을 블록체인의 기술로 지금 활용을 해서 지금 할 수 있는 방안들을 지금 좀 강구를 하고 있고, 이것을 조금 전에 제가 발표할 때 말씀드린 블록체인 규제자의 특구의 사업으로 지금 진행하려고 검토를 하고 있습니다. 마이크.
So in terms of the renewable energy, there are some points that the Busan metropolitan city is currently thinking about. So in terms of the ship financing, the most highlighted the fuel is the currently methanol. However, methanol is the hazardous material. So to address those issues about the risk probability of the methanol, now we are currently thinking about how to use the blockchain technology to build methanol into the fuels for the ships. And with that, now currently the blockchain technology is considered as another option. And also Busan is currently have a policy and have a district of the blockchain regulation free zone. And in terms of that, the blockchain regulation free zone can be a solution in this regard.
Thank you very much. Well, I'm afraid time has beaten us. We have got to the end of our session today, and just remains for me to offer some thanks, I think, to our contributors, Mr. Yu, Mr. Kim, Dr. An. It's been an absolute pleasure to be with you today and to hear about developments in Busan. Just looking ahead, we've got some events coming up on Wednesday, looking at solutions-driven journalism and how constructive journalism is making a difference. On Thursday, urban transport in tomorrow's world, what growing cities can learn from London. And next week, a session on scaling up net zero steel and concrete. So lots of fascinating contributions coming up. Keep an eye on the website for more details. But just to say thank you very much for coming along today to hear about progress in Busan. Thank you very much to our speakers, and we look forward to seeing you all again at our future events. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.